So we're Team Avengers, and we're working on the Arcos medical mobile application. And we nicknamed our project Apollo. And I'm Rami Ganon.
I'm Giovanni. I'm Rishi. Donovan.
I'm Jamal.
And I'm Brenda. Oh, sorry.
All right. So first, some information about our sponsor and what they do. So Arcos Medical is a software company that specializes in creating solutions that relate to helping medical professionals in their field. And so they have two main products they've released. Sagita, which is a sepsis tracking program to help with nurses to treat. So what sepsis is, it's like if you get an infection, it's like a critical infection. You need there's a short amount of time that you have to get treated, so it helps with the data flow of that. And Burn Navigator is to help with burn victims, to help the doctors and nurses coordinate all the data about the fluids they need to give in them. And so the team, which we met on Monday, was Chris Meter, who was presented here last week, and Dave Inlow, the CTO. And we'll be in contact with them weekly via video call. And so the reason we're creating this app, so anesthesia providers have to go through a very drudging and old school process of manually writing everything down that they're doing during the surgery. And that can take a lot of time. So we're trying to help them save time by creating an easy to use app that has easy data entry fields, maybe some sliders, and we're going to take that data and automatically produce the graph that they created at the bottom. And the graph that you see at the very bottom here is to track the blood pressure, heart rate over time, and they use those patterns to determine for the patient, maybe they're coming out of anesthesia, they need to give them some more drugs, and so on and so forth. And so the goal is to make the mobile app, which should be a very easy to use application to enter the data fast. That's the main purpose. And then also to create the graphs, which will be used to view during the surgery for the anesthesia provider to check on how the patient is doing. And it should be platform independent. They're looking for it to be used mainly on tablets. And like with the data, they'll have better decision making to not have problems during the surgery. And of course, we'll have no papers. Now, when we spoke with them, they said that they were mainly focusing on veterinarians, their side of anesthesia, because they're not operating in huge medical facilities. Because a lot of medical facilities, like the big ones, they have automated their anesthesia. They have in-house applications they created to track that. But a lot of these smaller medical facilities and like veterinarians, they don't have that. And so that's what our main goal and target is. So I'm gonna pass it off to you.
Alright, so we met on Monday with them and we went over the architecture piece of it and how does it look like. So what we came up with is just a general sketch and rough prototype of what it looks like. The idea is that, as he mentioned about that they capture a lot of pre-initial patient data entries that they have to make, and they have to do it manually every time. So the idea is to capture all that information within the app once they log in. So they come in, they'll get a form where it'll just say, hey, new patient historical data, or send a PDF or email a PDF of a historical record that they have previously. So once they select a new patient, they'll just go in and there'll be one section where it'll show them all the status information, pre-surgery, pre-procedure information that they want to put in for the patient, such as the initial heart rate reading, the oxygen level within the patient, the temperature, any allergies, drugs that the patient may be using. So they take all the information in, and after that, the idea is that every 10 minutes or every X interval, they're going to be recording that same metrics within the app. The app is going to, the responsibility of the app is going to be to remind them every time that hey, feed in the data that you've captured so that they can see the graph and they can see it visually of how they're monitoring it. Because if they do it like they do it manually right now and it's very error prone, it could actually result in making bad decisions essentially, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So the idea is that you take all the information, feed it into the app, and have it visually display a nice graph over there. But at the same time, Another feature that it'll have is that for them to be able to, from time to time randomly, if there isn't any strict time on for that, they can put the notes as to if they have given any specific drug for the patient, or like put in something that whatever that comes into mind, whatever that they are performing, is there any drug, the amount of drug, or any other thing that they may do while they're doing the surgery of the patient. So that feature is going to be on the, as it shows over there on the bottom, like adding notes. That's another feature that we have that we'll be adding. And then there's another part to it, which is the sending an email out or saving the record as a PDF format for future use for some, they mentioned that most of the time they use it for legal purposes, that not necessarily looking at what kind of statistics, that if they wanna look at the historical patient data, but it's more of a legal purposes if some patient comes in about procedure that they have had happened earlier. So that's the third part to it. I just figured I'd spend like 5 minutes on it. The tech stack that we have, we'll be using React Native Realm database and Redux as state management. So the front end part of it, and there's just front end in it. So what you're seeing over here, React Native, came out of React. Essentially, this is geared towards mobile. React, as you all know, is from Facebook. It's just apart from besides Angular, it's just a view library. It doesn't provide anything else. It's just a views. So our state management is going to be taken care of by Redux, and Realm is going to be the persistence layer. And it's going to put all that data into the phone's disk, essentially. HighCharts is what we are going to utilize for graphing. Just is for testing our components, testing our UI, and producing test results. And Jenkins, we already have it set up. That's for our continuous integration, and Webpack for building our packages. So as for our project backlog, there are a lot of folks within our team are not familiar with all of the new technologies. So we're trying to get up to speed with the technologies and frameworks that we're gonna be using. The set of the repository, that's already done, but we have to still go in and set up the CI and automated testing. As I mentioned earlier, we have to have the landing page where they can go in and just open the app, click on new patient, and start using it, feeding the data into it. The fourth bullet point that we have here is that we've got the 3 workflows: the initial patient data, the patient status, and graphs. The second to last bullet point that we have, the AES 128 encryption. They didn't really heavily emphasize that, but we're going to prefer it in case, in terms of security wise. The last option is the export of the data, which is making into a readable, nice format that they can PDF out and send it over as an email to anyone if they want it. So for first iteration backlog, we're going to be setting up the environment, setting it up so that it's faster for us to start doing it as a test-driven development, and first of all focus on our landing page, the page where they just open up and navigate from there on, navigate to different sections of the app, which is the looking at the historical data or starting up a new workflow or new patient procedure, and after that. The focus will be to create the UI so that we can capture the initial fields, because we have a lot of different data entries that we have to ensure. So we'll focus on that, capture as much of that, because of that, what we can do is that we can feed those data points in, and then create at the same time. Once we have the data, we can start creating our graphs to see how our graphs looks like. So we want to put more attention and focus on the graphs as well, so that it's more meaningful. And then we can circle back on in the next iterations on the on making the UI look more nicer, and the and the notification aspect of the app. That's pretty much it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.